Hi, welcome to the Pam Goodwin Show. I have a very special guest today. She traveled the world and shared the stage with her famous motivational speaker father, Zig Ziglar. She woke up to an opportunity clock and had strong ends and not weekends. I can't wait to hear about that. She's comfortable speaking in front of a small group from 25 people to 25,000 people. She's a mother, a grandmother, an animal lover, and is in the real estate business, which I can't wait to talk to her about. Welcome, my good friend, Julie Ziglar.
Thank you so much, Pam. It is just wonderful to be here with you today.
Oh, I love seeing you. I know it's been a little bit through this pandemic of not being able to get together, so I'm glad we could do this call, but it's so always great to see you. I know we've done a lot in the past and had some real estate training classes together, and I just always love, of course, talking to real estate. I want to tell our guest, I don't know if you remember how we met. Do you?
I think that we met at a banquet dinner.
That's right. I saw you had I saw you had posted it on, I think it might have been Facebook or something, that you were
Yeah.
having an event. And so I reached out to her. I'm like, oh my gosh, I wonder if she'll even respond to me. Her dad is Zig Ziglar, who I've been following for years and years. Everybody loved your dad for all the motivation. So I reached out to you. You responded, sure, come on out. And not only did I get to the event, you sat me at your table.
Of course. Hey, I wanted to meet you. I mean, you're pretty bold and out there girl, and I like that. I like someone who wants to meet somebody and get to know them, and I'm so glad that you did come, and I would not have had you anywhere except at my table.
Oh, thanks. And I know I've told you the story about how I met your dad, and just cherish that moment of meeting him. And, he put his arm around me and he said, Pam, or he didn't know my name, but he was like, have you written a book yet? And I'm like, no, not yet, but I want to. And he said, I'll always remember, he's like, that will give you so much credibility. And I thought, I better listen to Mr. Ziegler. I better write that book. And it was, one of the best things that I've ever done. And I know you travel the world with your father and you were the editor of, all of it, his books, and wrote a book together. But I'd love to, tell our viewers, a little bit about yourself.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I've just was blessed to be born my father's daughter. My mother was pretty amazing too. Daddy always said he wouldn't have been doing what he was doing without her support. But I've always loved sales. Started real early. Daddy put a brochure in my hand and sent me door to door when I was 9 selling Amway, and it was fun. I liked it. I got a little bonus for everything I sold. I just enjoyed all that stuff that Dad liked to do, so I did it. And he signed me up for a lot of things without asking, and they weren't exactly things that I would have chosen to do, like sell decorating stuff. I scored -2 on one of those aptitude tests, kind of about what you'd be natural with, and it was -2. And Daddy bought me a home interiors kit because he loved that company so much, and I love the products, but I don't have a decorating gene in my body, not one. Like, just like Daddy had a mechanical bypass, he couldn't put anything together or build anything. But I have gotten into the real estate business as a way to protect myself from the poorhouse, because because my precious husband, God love him, he's been gone 6 years now due to lung cancer, but he had a little bit of a credit card habit, and I got a whole lot of debt that I was happy to pay off. He was worth every single penny. It only took me about 4 years, but I could not have done it without the real estate income that went along with my speaking. I just don't know where I would have been without this business. And I love it. It's a people business. I love land. I'm a rural land gal. I like selling horse ranches, anything that gets me outside in the country, recreational hunting land. Get me on a Polaris and send me out into the woods, and I've got some good land to show you. But I just love this industry. I love the people in it. I like the places I get to go and get to see. It's like, for me, anytime I get to go on land that I haven't seen before, it's an adventure. That's why I trail ride horses, is because I just want to be out there. But the best part is helping somebody get what they want. And it's just fun. It's a helping, serving business. And I always told Daddy, I said, Daddy, I can help people all day long. And if I like your product, I can sell it like crazy. But I have a hard time closing, asking for the sale. But when you're selling houses and land, you have to help people get to that place. But they either love it and are going to buy it, or they don't. It's just a service industry. So that's what I love about it.
I know, and one of
Completely.
your father's famous quotes that I love the most is, which I always mess up, but if you help enough, if you help enough people, you say it for me.
Okay, you can have everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what they want.
Exactly. That is one of my, I know he had a lot of quotes, but that's one of my favorite ones he has. And since we're both in real estate, that is the key, is helping a lot of people. And I remember talking to you before, going back to, being on stage with your father. What did you tell me at one point? Because I find it interesting that what he spoke, he had to speak, what, 303,000 times before he, received getting paid as a professional speaker?
Yes, yes, he spoke over 3,000 times. And he says anybody who has a desire to become a speaker needs to take every single speaking opportunity they can get. And today, their speakers are much more common. So, excuse me, people expect to pay for a speaker. But back when Daddy started, it wasn't really done that much. There were just a few. But yes, he didn't get paid for a long, long time. Excuse
I,
me.
I, I remember seeing him speak at one of the success motivational, one of those that, I don't know, had 20, 30,000 people at it. And I can still hear his voice today, and watching a lot of the, YouTube videos of his motivational speeches. Did he have, one favorite thing that he always used to like to say in his motivational speeches?
Well, excuse me, I particularly loved talking about mom and marriage. And the further he got into his speaking career, the more he talked about relationships and living life, as opposed to just sales, which sales always got him excited and warmed his heart. But he spoke a great deal about courtship after marriage, that just because you get married doesn't mean you quit dating, and you've got to do something to keep the sparks alive. And he spoke about that a great deal. But mostly he talked about integrity and being the kind of person that other people want to do business with, that other people will trust to have that relationship. That was the foundation of everything. Was, let's see, he used to say, if people like you, they will listen to you. But if they trust you, they will do business with you.
Yeah, it's so true in sales today. And I know I've had the opportunity, well, you know, he always talked about the redhead, and just loved the, hearing about the relationship your mother and father had together. I love that. And I see on your backdrop, you have Ziglar women on your backdrop,
Women.
women.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've met, of course, your brother Tom and your sister Cindy, and your company Ziglar is based here in Dallas, Texas. But I'd
Yes.
like to hear more about your Ziglar women.
Well, Ziglar Women was started when I wrote my book called Growing Up Ziglar. Um, and Growing Up Ziglar was my first book by myself. Embrace the Struggle was the book that I had to help Dad with a great deal after he had his head injury. So eventually it came that time for me to write my book. And it we needed a place to, you know how you, when you launch a book. So the girls and I had been talking a long time about starting a ministry for women to encourage them. and and the little, I don't know if you can read what's below it, but it says rejoice, refill, and refuel, rejoice, refocus. And it's a spiritual based Christian type of a conference. But we just wanted to encourage women. Daddy always said encouragement is the missing ingredient in too many lives. So we wanted to encourage women and give them hope and show them that overcoming is very, very possible, and moving on is very possible. So we started Ziglar Women, and it was a one-day conference. We spoke from about 9 o'clock that morning till about 3:30 that afternoon, and it was very powerful. I think we did three big ones here. Then my little granddaughter came down with cancer, and it was her mama, my youngest daughter, was the one teaching the Bible a part of our conference, and Amy just couldn't do it anymore. And then when we lost her almost 2 years later, that broken heart just, she's been on the stage with Ziglar Women one time since then. So we have a Facebook page called Ziglar Women if anybody wants to go there and get some positive encouragement, because that's what's there.
I love that, especially during this time. We all need encouragement, and it's so important, especially I think for women that may sometimes, as you know, maybe lack confidence, and we all need our individual cheerleaders or someone to encourage us and to support us and all that. So that's great. I'd like to get back to your real estate, and I'm so proud of you for now having Ziglar Realty out in, you're pretty much based throughout Texas, and you're based in Lindell, Texas, just 90 miles east of Dallas. I'm out there all the time. Or I need to do some commercial real estate deals out there in East Texas. It's a gold mine out there. And you're focused right now on helping people, like you mentioned a little bit ago, with the ranch and horse land. And how's that going?
Rural home. And I tell you what, the only problem we have is a shortage of land for sale and houses for sale. I have so many buyers, and we have so many people all looking at the same thing. You know how that is, Pam. We're experiencing that all over Texas, and it has been going on all the way through this COVID issue that we've had this past year. It hasn't slowed things down, and I know it's greatly driven by the extremely low interest rates that are out there right now, but there are incredible numbers of people moving to Texas from other states, and especially California. Incredible. A lot of people are getting out of the colder states. Don't know if they're going to want to come after that last snow we had, but that was a once in a lifetime event. So it's amazing. I just love working with the people over in this part of the country. Everybody's been so helpful. You know, when you move and you kind of start fresh, you're never quite sure how quickly it's going to pick up speed, but it has been phenomenal here. Just phenomenal. And our country land is so pretty. There's so much water here compared to where I was in North Texas, you know, just natural springs everywhere. They don't particularly make big water, but everything's green and big and full of pollen. But it's gorgeous. It's all the dogwoods are in bloom right now. The wisteria.
Oh, wow.
Amazing beauty here.
I'm going to come out hopefully next week or so, or the following week, to come see you. How are the prices? Have you seen them escalate, or what tips do you also have as far as if you're looking for Texas land or ranch land? Do you have a couple key points to tell us?
I do have, and our land is going up exponentially. There was acreage that you could get around here for 7,000, let's say 7,000 when I first showed up last year, that you're not going to get below 16 to 20. I sold a 1 acre lot the other day for 90. That wouldn't have happened a year ago. Half-acre lots, some of them are going for 47,000. And these are small subdivisions that aren't going to have HOAs. And the country lots is what everybody's looking for, because they want to do what they want to do. And so many of the lots don't allow the building of smaller homes, but almost everybody's putting deed restrictions on. But what I can tell you, if you're buying a place with a house on it, and you need to negotiate that so that you can get on top, because there are multiple offers for almost everything. If you put a really high option price down that you're willing to pay, that'll show how serious you are about getting that contract. If you only give yourself 3 days for the option period, that's helpful. If you don't, if you have cash and you don't ask for an appraisal, that's almost a shoe-in if you have the highest bid. Some people are putting escalating offers that say, up mine $500 or $1,000 over the highest one every time it comes in, up to this amount. And we can put that clause right in the contract. That way we don't have to keep rewriting the contract. And it's just, people are saying, bring your best and highest offer by this date. And that's pretty much how it has to be done. We have historically low inventory. Never been like this in Texas. And we've had low inventory, but nothing like this. So you got to be ready to come with both your guns out and be willing to be a little risky in there if you want to end up on top.
That's
but don't
great.
be silly about it. Yeah, don't overpay to the point that you are so upside down on your mortgage. If you got the cash and you can just get it done and get over with, okay. But most things are selling for more than 100% of asking price.
What about how long will they let you look for the property? 30 days or 60, or what's the timing?
On how
On some of the land
highest and
deals.
best is usually pretty quick, about not more than 3 or 4, 5 days max, because it's such insanity for the sellers. I mean, I know a house that I had a client who wanted to put a contract on it just this past week, had over 40 showings from like 11 o'clock on Saturday till Sunday night.
Oh my
40
goodness.
showings. Yeah. And there were 11 offers.
Wow.
And
how do you go through all
the majority,
those?
one at a time. And you know how many elements there are in a contract that make a difference. So, like, are you going to give them a free lease back? That's always a smart thing to do when you're trying to come out on top. It's just there are just so many options, and each one that you take makes it a little riskier, especially if you leave off that appraisal. But most things aren't appraising for how high people are driving the price with their multiple offers.
Wow, what a great time to start Ziglar Realty, correct? I'd like to. What a great timing on that part. How many agents do you have now? And I know Heather Pritchard and is your broker, and your daughter's involved in the business. You want to just let the viewers know a little bit about your services and based. I know you have offices in Dallas and Odessa and East Texas. Commercial real estate.
Yes, we've got commercial. We have some other commercial brokers with us. Of course, Heather Pritchard and her husband Kit do a lot of commercial too. Dee Dee Galindo, she does a lot of investment stuff for our clients and for others. We have a lot of farm and ranch people. I'm real proud of that, since that's kind of what I like to do. But we have luxury home sellers. We have a little bit of everybody in us. And I think we had about 49 the last count that I saw, and we're We're in Fort Worth and Dallas and all around North Texas, up by Alvord. I still keep my MLS that's up there. It's 3 hours where most of my business is. But primarily I do listings because I was there 20 years and know so many people. So I get referrals, and we have plenty of agents up there who can show for me, if I can't get up there. So I still list there, and I'm gonna stay on there because so many people from East Texas move that way, and vice versa. A lot of Dallas area people move here, so that way I can always advertise their properties that I list in both MLSs, which I think is a real positive selling point.
Yeah, as we
But
both know,
Realty,
it's key to
yeah.
make sure you have the best real estate agent on your team. And so I know you are, definitely the best and know those markets. So you're a great person to reach out. I wanted to ask you, I know you've done a ton of stuff from, working with your father and different businesses and now real estate. I know he would be so proud of you because he even had some input real estate early on in his career. But what else is on your bucket list?
As things I want to do or I am doing.
Both
Oh my
personal and
goodness.
business.
Okay. Well, business wise, I also have a health and wellness business where I help people get what they want as far as the nutrition that they need to be able to keep up with this. I know it seemed slow while we were sitting around with waiting to get out from COVID, but it's still crazy. It may be crazier than it ever was before because of Zoom. But that's my isogenics business. And if anybody wants to get healthy, stay healthy, I can help them with that. And that way they can keep up with me when I'm showing land, Pam. They might need it.
Do you hop
But
on
I
a
have
horse? Do
that.
you hop on a horse and go right?
I have shown property on horseback. I sure have. When I was up in North Texas, I did. Because some properties are just too dense. I mean, you can't even get through them with the four-wheelers. So I have done that with people who ride, and they love to look at property on their horses. That's a plus if you can arrange that when it really is. But between the real estate, and by the way, Daddy was the one who gave me a heart for land because he used to take us out when we were little. We would look at properties on Saturday at land because he wanted to build his dream house someday. And we would go out there and he would say, "Look, girls, we'll put your horse barn right over there." And he said, "And then we're going to build a house here and we'll put the pool right. Won't this be great?" And so when I stand on a piece of raw land, I see where everything's going to go. I mean, it's like a dreamland to me. So that's why I've always been attracted to the land, because Daddy taught me how to envision what can be on a piece of property. But there's that. And then Ziglar Inc., the company that Dad left to us, we do training. I'm involved in training the speakers, institute training, because I spoke all over with Dad. And then I was the accidental speaker. I started getting asked to speak, and I enjoyed that a great deal. COVID has changed the speaking industry tremendously for pretty much everybody. So I tell people today, I'm so grateful that I have other things I'm involved in for financial security, because I have one for residual income, one for constant flow of income, which has been my experience thus far in real estate, and then keeping my father's legacy alive by doing trainings there. We certify people to train Daddy's materials so that it can stay out there and benefit other people as if he were here. Dale Carnegie had the franchises, the little offices everywhere. We're not doing franchises. We are teaching people how to take it wherever they go. And that's a really great gift to be able to do that. And people still love Dad, still appreciate the growth message that he gives.
They sure do. I mean, I love that, to leave his legacy. I know I'm always forwarding YouTube videos of some of his speeches and sending them off to our boys. to continue to learn from him, just that voice and that motivation and that impact. And I love the opportunity clock. I didn't know about that until I saw that on your bio after knowing you for so long, and the opportunity clock. I just love that. And what he said about not the weekend, but the strong ends.
Strong ends. Yes, he had a different way of, traffic lights were go lights. If you had a wreck, you didn't call the wrecker because you'd already had the wreck. What did he say you called? You called it's another word for wrecker.
Tow truck or
tow truck. Yeah, you call a tow truck.
He probably changed the name, huh?
No, but I do know what he did change. He changed the reputation that salesmen had.
Yes.
Everybody used to think of them as sleazy manipulators who sold wild potions and lied about everything. And Daddy put integrity into that profession. And he talked about the responsibility of the salesperson not to take advantage of people, but to help them get what they want and need, and not to do more than that, not to do harm. So he turned it around. He really did.
I love that. It's amazing to me how one person like that had so much impact internationally, all over the world, and still loved today. So I'm so glad your family has continued the legacy. Where can our viewers get a hold of you? Especially, I want you to look out for some land out there in East Texas for me. I need a good getaway, but where can we reach out to you, Julie?
You can find me at Julie at ZiglarRealty.com, and that's ZiglarAR. Julie at ZiglarRealty.com. My phone number is probably the best way to get me, 817-233-8444. And I do answer it. I don't wait to see if it's somebody trying to sell me something. Sometimes they teach me a thing or two about sales, so I like to listen to them occasionally.
Yeah, you still need to pay back your student loan, right?
If I'd stayed in school long enough, I would have had to do that.
Or your car warranty's up or something crazy. Well,
oh, yes.
I always love catching up with you. Love you, friend. Thank you so much for being on the Pam Goodwin Show.
Love you too, Pam.
Post everything on here and look forward to coming out to Lindell, Texas, and hopping on a horse. How about that?
All right. You come on. I'll show you land on horseback. Promise.
Okay. Now we're going to do that.
All right, Pam.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Julie.
you so much for inviting me. I always love to help, and you holler when we can do something again, and I'll do the same.
All right. Thank you.